Okay, we should be now.
Okay, great. Hi everyone. You all know me because I see all your names, so I don't really need to go through this introductions, but since this is getting recorded, Joe from Austin, Texas, National Elite official, and I have been reffing since 97, I think. So it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I'm glad that we're doing these locker room discussions so that it helps bring us all to trying to call the same way throughout the state. And hopefully this does help. So I'm going to go ahead and get to it. I'm going to share my screen. All right, here we go. I threw this together as I was waiting on the sideline to train floorball today. So some of it will look familiar to anyone going through the L3 clinic. But what we're going to talk about is communication, teamwork, and draws. All right, so I thought this was a funny picture to pull that. Can you guys see my screen? Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Because this is what happens. You have coaches arguing with you, you have fans arguing with you, and we have to figure out how to deal with it. So communication is really important. Communication, both like nonverbal and verbal. How are you conducting yourself? How are you, like, are you walking up to the field with already on your phone or engaged in a conversation? Or are you coming to the field and presenting yourself like as a professional? And that's what we should be doing. So, you know, you're hired to do the game and be as professional as you can. It sometimes is difficult when you've been around for a long time. I actually saw a kid today who started playing floorball, and she's like, wait, I think you coached me and probably ref me. And I'm like, yep, well, welcome to floorball now. So, and it was in lacrosse back in 2004, I think. So it's like you still have to conduct yourself in a very professional way. So how do you present yourself in front of everyone? I love the duck because on the surface, the duck is all cool, calm, and collected. Underneath the water, that duck is like swimming for their lives, and those legs are going really, really, really fast. And sometimes that's how we feel as officials. But we need to look like the top of the duck, even though our brain is the bottom of the duck. All right. So with that, your nonverbal communications with stadium signals, it's big and away from your body. Like think about how you're not just showing the girls around you your signals and your like, but you are showing the coaches, you're showing the fans what the call is that you're making. So be big, be slow. I know I can do it way too fast because you have a whistle blown, and then the coaches or the kids are trying to figure out which official called that. And by the time they find you, your signals are probably gone. Like they missed what you called, right? So try to just be a little slower with it. Directional, signal, directional, all right? And just, yeah, I think I've heard like you're kind of like walking through mud or pushing through jello, you know, so it's like just slow and big is what we want to do. I kind of talked about body language. How do we carry ourselves? How do you walk up to the game? How do you talk to the coaches? If you go and talk to one coach when you arrive, make sure you go talk to the other coach. So it's very even. If you like overly are talking to one coach about something, make sure it is about the game, the field. And then when you check in with the other coach, tell them what you were talking about so that they feel that they were included in that conversation. During the game, make sure that you how you say things and present it to the girls, to the coaches, to the table is very important, and it needs to be like a very even tone. All right, don't get hyped up. It's very easy when the girls or the coaches start getting hyped up that you want to elevate yourself as well. You really need to just stay calm. Think about that duck. And I want you guys to come back to me and say, hey, I thought about that duck in that situation. Like, it's important. And like whatever you say, like if you need to say it in the language of the rules. If you need to pull your other official aside, other officials, depending on if there's one or two of you, have a discussion, move away from the girls, move away from the table, have your discussion so that because even though the table is very friendly, they're still a part of that team that's hosting. So they're going to bring information back to their coach or to the other parents or whatnot. So really be neutral at the table, be friendly and neutral. They're volunteering their time to be there. Move away from the table to have any extra discussions. So I threw a lot at you right there for communication. Do you guys have any questions? Want to add anything in here? No? Okay, I'm just making sure I don't have anything from anyone trying to get in. Okay, I'm going to keep on going. Okay, a part of teamwork is that off-ball communication with your crew. All right. It's very easy when you are not like the one making the call to kind of check out. And that's actually when you need to check in. You need to stay involved in the situation. So it's typically the furthest official away that, it's like, okay, cool. I see what they have and I'm ready for what's next. No, you need to see what they have, make sure that the clock is correct, make sure the subbing is correct. If you are in transition and you're becoming like the ball's coming to you, but the other official, the VAR official made the call, start counting sides. Like it does not need to be that last, and it shouldn't always be that last official coming over the line. So think ahead. How can you stay engaged if you aren't making that call? Like there's when you're making the call, there's still like 90% of the whole, field is not that ball and the two people involved in that ball. So don't check out. This could be anywhere in the field. Yeah. So why you want to stay active and the things that you can check on. We already talked about time. Who's in the CSA, do you need to step in and help? Like that's a really good one is inside the CSA, if one person makes a call, let that person kind of set it up, but the other official will step in and move those extra people to be efficient with the restart. So let's say I'm lead, I make a call, my my trail official should make sure that everyone is cleared out of that CSA 4 meters away. On the sides, I have the ball, I have the person going behind, and so then we can get that started a lot quicker. If just little mechanics with that, because I do see a few newer officials on the call, that you just put your hand up and you just, until you're ready, don't drop your hand, but that hand should be straight up above your head, and you are waiting. That's your nonverbal communication of I'm not ready for you to blow your whistle to start this next play. So yeah, be a good teammate, be engaged, and then be open to communicating about disagreements, because one person sees something one way, the other person sees something the other, and you need to come together and find that common ground to be able to call together so that you have some consistency and support together. So anything about teamwork, communication? Just felt like I'd throw that in since it's the beginning of season and those are really important things to hit on. Great. We're going to go on to the draw then. The draw is such an important part of the game. That possession really matters. And if you didn't play, you don't quite understand like those little intricate things that people are doing on the draw to get that possession and why it's so important. But it's always said the higher percentage of draw like possessions is the team that's going to win the game. Is that true? I don't know. I haven't done the statistics and I have not looked at that, but that's what's said. So I believe that someone actually has done that work before. So it is important that we actually are consistent, that we don't rely on alternating possession if we can't tell, or redraws. So let's learn of things we can do to better our draw. Setting up the draw, everyone on this call should know how to set it up properly. I kept this slide from our other training because I really like how you can see in this bottom picture. Can you see my cursor in this? Yes, no.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you see how, like, there's not much room on either side of the ball right here when you set up this draw? This is important with those darn draw sticks, all right? They're difficult. So it's okay if it's even less than the top of the third of the stick, if it's the top fourth of the stick, to try to make it as neutral as possible. Like, do this, like really put that ball at the very top so that it's as, you know, even for both teams as possible. All right, you do see that the official does have a hand on the top of it to close it. And then I would say, I can't tell if you can tell in the top one, the official in the top has a hand underneath, you know, of where she wants that, the height of the draw to go. It is important to look at the girls as to when they step up to the draw, because they don't always do it right. Even though they're supposedly draw specialists, they might not really be. That right side of the stick needs to go down, and the open pocket needs to head toward their defense. They can be on either side of the stick, but sometimes you just need to take those two sticks, put them together how they should be, and you say, figure out where you want to be. And that's the best way to set up that draw. The hand placement for the draw, this is college pictures. So that's off the throat. This little part is the throat of that stick. For high school, it is okay that their hands are on this throat. It's not okay if it starts creeping above that throat. So where that curve of the stick is, nothing can be above that. Hope that makes sense to you guys. When the draw goes off, it's up and away, and it has to be the same motion. It can't be separated into two separate motions. It can't be, well, it can just be up, and that's totally fine, but it can't be away and then up. And that's what a lot of them like to do, or they like to turn their stick. So we're going to really look at some of the things with that. All right. Again, it's that where you place that the ball, picking it up, and this is a no-no. Okay, when you are backing out of the draw, okay, this position right here is a 3-man position. So you will go straight out that line, or the best line that you can go out, to avoid players. In a 2-man, I think I have a little diagram of what to do. It's different, it's harder. It just is with 2. You have to go out a little bit more angled so that you're heading for a restraining line. And I think I kept a diagram later on, so we'll talk about that a little bit more lately. Anything here? Okay. Here's some videos for illegal draws. I'm going to, I guess I kind of want this on. See the movement of that. It's so slight. It's so slight, but it's really important.
Joe, we're still looking at the slide. We can't see any video.
Okay. Now?
Yes. Yeah, now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's so slight. You'll see that blue moves first. See? Little. It's so little. But that bit will cause players and coaches to get really frustrated with you if you don't see it. So it really is important that once you set that draw, you don't take your eyes off of it until you blow that whistle, so that you are not missing an illegal draw. All right. All right, I'm learning this. Okay, here is another one.
We're looking at the slide.
Oh, yeah, there are. All right, I don't know that you can see this. I'll replay. That bottom hand is starting to pull on blue. And then it looked like white didn't even go up, and she went straight back. So how is the setup for this? Let's say white drew illegally. You all should have taken your rules test by now. All right. White drew illegally. What happens next?
Blue takes the ball at the spot. Blue takes the ball where it dropped.
Blue
and it
takes
says, yeah, self-start.
Okay, and is it the draw girls?
No, any player.
Yeah, that's a cool thing now. Okay, any player can start with that ball, which should help things along. Okay, I went to co-ed lacrosse yesterday in the freezing cold just to take videos for you guys. So they're not the best, but let's see what we have. So this is co-ed lacrosse. It's a lot of fun. It's men and women both playing because they can't get enough lacrosse and they play more like girls' rules. So that's co-ed lacrosse. So I just wanted to show that one to you. But, oh, I can't forward through here. Yes, I can. Can you see this next clip? Yes? Someone?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I asked, this is a player who I coached when she was in high school and she's past college now. I asked her to do some illegal draws. She couldn't do it. So this kind of looks illegal and she thought she was doing it illegal, but her first
regular.
that
Okay, movement
of her
on the
hand
draw
was
just like she
illegal.
did would have been illegal. Here's another one.
I want to not have me talking on that. Okay, so she very little. Oh, I didn't move it back far enough. Okay, she's moving her hands. He's moving his hands. All right. So that is illegal because the official has already left that circle. Hands are off the sticks is the language of the rules. Okay, so we did it again. I have a bunch of these clips to go through. She thought she did something illegal there. Watch it. Nothing illegal there. Yeah, she turned her stick, but her first motion was up. Even if away was a part of it, she still went up and away. And so we're okay with these.
Start turning.
Joe, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Because this is actually do you mind going back to the beginning of this video? It's actually I'm just curious, when you're setting up the draw, and I guess for several of you that have a lot more experience than me, where she's putting the ball on the stick right there, are you putting it in from the top or the side? Like when you're actually setting it up, the top.
I put it in from the top. I put my hand underneath. So she's not a ref. She's just helping me because so I would have my hand underneath. I would put it in from the top. All right, and then I would close it up.
I mean, when you said it's not illegal, and you just said she's not a ref, but there's quite a bit of movement when she steps away.
Yeah, she's causing it. The girl in
did.
orange is causing that.
Okay.
So don't look don't look at that kind of movement. All right. Let's see.
And so when you do that, when you're putting it in from the top, because I've been putting it in from the side, that's just the way Bobby, I guess, kind of taught me how to do it, was to put it in from the side. Are are you opening their sticks evenly, kind of like
I
a clamshell? Okay.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
Okay, I close both sticks because sometimes one girl will open her stick like a pancake and the other one
Mhm.
straight up, and I just pull it them together and then I open them at the same time. And sometimes I have to poke my finger into the webbing to try to get it even, and that's fine. Okay,
Okay.
good
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, I hold from the bottom
Yep,
and
I
put them
hold from
together.
the bottom, I put through the top. So
Yep.
this
Okay.
one, she moves, you see her turning, that is obvious, because we did it slow-mo basically, but this little turn gets possession of the ball and it makes it illegal. All right, so don't allow them to turn that stick.
Also watch for the turn. They'll turn and just and allow the person to push, and they're pulling, right? So they'll scoop, roll, and push back. If it's not going up, those are kind of more obvious, but that happened even today at the college level.
Okay, so this is one, the ball, sometimes don't play anymore, so you know. But they go down first. Look at my stick, how I went under and up. They're better at that than I am to show because they're quicker, but they go dig it. They dig that ball and go underneath it. So that is another way they try to get away with illegal draws. Okay, this one. Okay, so can anyone tell me what I did on this one? He's going at the
Where should we
whistle.
start?
You
Yeah,
didn't
I mean,
start.
yes, there's movement at first, but also you don't move.
Yeah.
Right. I went late.
Yeah.
I went late, and that's an illegal draw. It's almost always me doing the illegal draw. Let's just put it that way. Because I knew what I wanted to show. Okay. That's very common, especially in youth. Look how hard I'm pushing at his stick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that happens all the time. Okay, act like that was set up. Act like that was set up properly. I didn't have someone to really set it up. But when my hand gets to the bottom of that stick, right there, you see how they pull? They pull that bottom hand toward themselves and they start getting possession. Like I had complete possession of that ball whenever I started pulling that bottom hand. Sometimes when you're exiting, you cannot see that. But that's just another
So that
thing.
was after you took your hands off, but before you blew the whistle, or did she move it as part of her draw?
Watch my bottom hand. See
Yeah.
how I brought it closer to me?
Uh-huh. Did you slide that?
Okay, from
So
right
that
there.
was
Act
that was
like
after.
this is where it started. I didn't have time to like clip or anything like that. Okay, this is where it starts. Ready? That
Okay.
bottom hand that gets pulled.
Got
So,
it.
From here,
Mhm.
that pull is illegal. Okay, this is a good one. And I honestly just thought of this one recently because I've had issues with some of this before. What do you think the problem of this is?
The leverage they're getting, or
Where's my
Wiggling. It's hard
head?
to tell.
Look at my head.
it's over the line?
I'm holding my head so close to the stick. Sometimes we have it that those goggles fly off because the stick now has hit the head of basically me in this one.
But there's
This is
nothing
holding
like,
our stick within our sphere.
oh,
So just verbally fix it. see if you can verbally fix it. But I think that most of us have had the time where it's hit ahead of a girl taking the draw because her head is so close. It's not
But I'm
legal.
not sure where, I mean, I guess because it's in the sphere, but like I had this happen once 2 years ago where there was actually a player who had her body leaning on her stick head. And I couldn't, she said, where in the rules does it say I can't do that? And I went and looked. And so essentially, once the draw started, I could say it was illegal because she was stopping the other player's stick from going up. But in the rule book, the only thing it said was like, I have to look again, but it did not say you cannot put your whole body against your stick. Like,
But
and it
you,
also doesn't say you can't put your head down like that. Like,
right, but you can't keep your stick near your head either. So you just verbally fix it. Because the next thing
It's
you're
just
going
a
to
safe.
have,
It's a safety thing. Yeah,
yeah,
just
the
it's a
next thing you're
safety.
going to have is a stick hitting a head. And who put her head there? The girl. And you don't want to have to deal with that. So just try to move them away. Verbally try to say, hey, I need your head away from that stick.
Well, and sometimes they both get so close that as an official, you can no longer see because they've crowded the stick so much that when I'm trying to set up the draw, I can't see what they're doing because
Yep.
they've both crowded that stick so much. More so in youth, like you see it a lot 7th, 8th grade, where they're really trying to learn their draw finesse. But Lord, that can, yeah, be bad.
Yep. I don't remember what this one is. Oh, I know what this one is. Okay, what do you see on this one? How many have seen that?
The shaking.
The shaking. They
Mhm.
call it digging or shaking. But what they're doing, especially with draw sticks, is they're trying to get possession of the ball into their stick. And so what I said, I just turned to them, I said, don't shake your stick. Okay. It needs to be stationary. Like try to use the rules of the words of the rule book, which I definitely need to do better at. But don't allow them to shake that stick. Right? I did it extreme. They do it slight. Try to verbally fix it rather than call them on it. Usually, that will help. That will fix the problem.
Hey, and Joe, what about with some of these draw sticks that are just so bendable that you're seeing the heads bend
They
equally?
can't do that. They have
Okay.
to keep it in the plane above the center line.
Okay.
All right. So if they're putting so much pressure on it that it's bending off that line, they aren't keeping it in that plane. And you can try to verbally say, get your bottom hand over the line, and if they just won't do it, you can move it there. I've seen the highest level college officials just move those sticks. You don't want to touch the player by any means, but if you have to move their stick, move their stick. Try to verbally do it first.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's another one. This is common as well. What was the error there?
You didn't engage. You didn't go up.
Precisely. I went back. My first motion was back, not up. Everyone see that? Yep. Charlie, he did a great job with all his draws. Okay, so here's another one. You have a really tall person with a really short person, and they step up to the draw, and the short person wants the draw set down there, and the tall person wants the draw set way up here. I mean, I made them go extreme. All right.
Okay, is this where you want your stick? Okay, we're gonna go halfway in between. Okay,
So that's what you do. Okay. You find that halfway point. All right. To do those, to do the draw. Does that make sense? Okay, any questions so far?
I would just like to say, like, just to keep it consistent too, right? You sometimes get girls that'll ask, "Can we reset it?" You don't
Oh,
have to.
is the one thing.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you're happy with it, you tell them no and move on.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, because that is a big thing. If the ball isn't, if you do the best you can with setting up this draw, and it's not perfect because like these darn draw sticks, sorry, then you can, they will ask for a redraw, or they want to switch sides and your hand's already on the stick. All right. If especially with the redraws, take a look. Do you like where the ball is? Then you say, nope, we're not going to reset it. And they're sometimes shocked because there's not consistency with this. But as long as you think it's as fair as you can make it, then don't reset it. If you think that it is that you want to reset it, then reset it. You can, oh yeah, it did move a bit, but don't get in the habit and don't let the same person constantly ask you to reset that draw. Thank
The
you.
other thing, the other thing I like to bring up too is like if you see movement, right, and you're calling, or it didn't come out right, you have the right to go ahead and call an alternate possession and award it, right? Just be consistent with how you're doing that as a team, out there on the field, you know. Because I think you've got there's been cases where I've had both girls moving, or both girl, one girl rolled her wrist, the other girl dipped, or whatever the case may be, right? So I think if we could get more consistent about that too, and just going ahead and doing alternate possession on those things, and try and stop all the movement, that would help.
But if it truly is on one team, you need to call it for that
Yeah,
one team.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But we cannot, and I would also just say, like, it's good to come together, like, if you're, like, while you're getting back to the draw, and tell your partner, if you find something that you feel like you're seeing, but you haven't called it, to keep an eye on it. It helps you guys kind of keep consistent within your crew too.
Yeah, especially as you're rotating.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's after a goal or whatnot. You just go and hand that ball off to your other official, and you're like, hey, I think, and I've done this many times, I think that blue is opening too early. Just be aware. Like, just because, I mean, you miss it. And after the ball goes up, you're like, did I just miss that? But you don't want to like bring attention to yourself or stop the play, like the flow of the game. And so it's just bring that information to your partners.
And
Very
also,
good.
and also, I've had a situation where we had multiple calls on a certain girl, right? Of she was rolling her wrist, and I called it. My team, other members, other officials on our team that night called it. So I actually said something to the coach in between periods, right? This is why, because she was curious too. She kind of stepped out. Was like, it's so, we tried to explain to her that's why she's getting the calls, because this certain girl is rolling her wrist every single time. And she's like, okay, thank you. So I think also if you have a situation where there's multiples, good to give the coach a heads up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, and I think I only have one slide on this, and I only did 2-man because most of the games within Texas are a 2-man game. So a lot of times, and somewhere in the mix of over the years, someone taught the person who set up the draw to go straight down the line, I think, to make sure that there's no movement on the draw. That is true for a 3-man positioning, but not for a 2-man positioning. All right, you will get beat. So what you want to do is get out at that angle best you can do. And the big thing is to keep on moving. Don't just get here and stop and blow your whistle, because if that ball moves down toward the right, like you are still, like 2-man is hard. You're still responsible for this restraining line so that you'll have no early entries, all right, and the ball, depending on where that ball goes, all right? So keep moving and keep moving toward where you become lead. And if the ball goes the opposite way, great, then you can just follow it up. But don't go straight out. Go toward the restraining line, and then adjust your positioning.
Joe, even if you're in a C position right there, isn't this a good position to be in if you're C? Because if that angle is any more flat, the more you back out, you're losing eyesight on the girl on the other side.
I mean, sometimes there's people set up there too. So whatever you can do to have a good view of the sticks, is what you want to do. So, in this general area, you need to go out.
Gotcha.
All right. Do we have any questions?
I have one about foot placement. So, when you're setting up the draw, do you start kind of with the bottom first and make sure their feet are like that they're towing the line? I've watched a lot of games on TV and things, and I'm not seeing consistency with the foot positioning. So sometimes one girl has a toe on the line, sometimes one has toes off the line. So do you make them bring a foot up to and touch the line?
Technically, sorry, my dog's about to tear a piece of paper. Okay, technically, you are supposed to have them toe the line. So towing the line to you, is that a foot on the line? Is it toe up to the line? Is there a little bit space in between the line and their foot? I'm not going to nitpick on that. If their foot is a few inches away from the line, yes, I'm going to have them move their foot up. Because a few inches, like that much, could give them more leverage. I don't know, maybe, maybe not. But if it's like this and I still see a little green in between their foot and the line, I'm not going to nitpick that. It's more important to get the sticks accurate than just the feet. I notice the feet when I look down and I'm putting the ball in. That's when I notice the feet. So it's like a looking through that forest to the ball type thing that we do whenever we're, on or off ball at lead or whatever, that's the same idea. It's not primary for me. Primary is going to be their hands placement, their stick placement.
One thing I'd suggest, I kind of
Yeah.
learned this in rough and hockey and doing face-offs. Find your cadence, like whatever that is, right? And consistently do that same cadence every single time. That'll keep you consistent. So whether you first look at feet or whether you first hold the basket, whatever it is for you, right? But that way you get into sort of a rhythm and it'll keep you more consistent.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, I mean, I do similar to you guys. I start to notice the feet after I'm setting up the sticks. If when I tell them, please, move your foot towards the line, if it's quite off and it's clear it's causing a player a disadvantage because they've already got their sticks set up and they're moving, then I will let them release their sticks, move their bodies and come back. It's kind of situation by situation. Other people, it's not a big deal for them to just shift their foot a little and they
I
can
don't know.
stay in position.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And I always keep my hand on the bottom. I mean, that is the last thing I let go of, and that I'm good with. So as long as I feel like, as long as I have my hand on the baskets, right, we can shift and adjust as needed.
So I have a question on the feet placement along the line. I don't care if your feet is 2 feet from the line. If that's where you want to set up, that's where you set up. It's not my position. You're within the rules. Now, if you have your foot over the line, then that's where I'm going to mention something. So why would we point out that, oh, you need to get your feet closer on a draw? Like,
Well, because
why
you're
would we
not
point that out?
you're not within the rules. The rule literally says you're supposed to toe the line.
Yeah. That is the rule.
Yeah.
You're supposed to toe the line. So
Well,
at
and I
least
think
one
too,
foot.
like Rachel, I mean, like you guys have said, like I think that, like sometimes too, when their foot is like so far from the line, like it just doesn't set the draw correctly either, especially if the other girl's towing the line.
They could
So
they could be leaning in. Yeah, they could be leaning in and leveraging and pushing harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So it is a rule to toe the line. Any other questions about the draw? It is more important
Joe.
than you think. Yep. Go ahead.
I think that I would love to hear you talk about when you have two people that have one person is putting a lot of pressure, because I've gotten this question a lot, but I don't necessarily know how to answer it. So I'd love to hear how you tell someone, if you have two people, but one person is putting way more pressure and it's almost disadvantaging the other person, how do you
I
talk
mean,
about that?
typically it's hard to set up the draw because they're putting so much
Well, it
pressure.
is.
It's hard to
Yeah.
keep the draw over the line, and that's what you have to do is keep that draw over that line in the same plane. And so I just tell them, I just say, white, back off a bit on the pressure, a little less on the head of your stick. Like, so I just try to give them the chance to fix that with those words. Or, I mean, sometimes people don't put enough pressure, and I have to the
Well, I
opposite
think it
of,
happens a lot at youth. I mean,
Yeah.
so but it's still good to hear how you
yeah, I
speak to them.
just tell them, back off on the pressure. It's too much. You're not holding your stick over the line. Rachel, thanks for posting in the comments where you can find the actual thing, the thing,
But hey, Beth,
the verbiage.
I was gonna say sometimes I just tell the girls equal pressure, and then when I say that, usually the other girl, like if the one that's not pressing as much, she'll like press a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use that same thing when Aaron had asked about the draw sticks bending, and that's usually, I mean, Joe, you said about going over the line, but I usually just say even pressure, because if you're pushing so hard your stick's bending, that's just an inappropriate amount of pressure.
Yes, but no. Some of those sticks are very bendable. Like they've just used
Okay.
them and, sometimes manipulated them. But we, unless there's a full stick check or you can really see the problem, you're not going to bring attention to yourself and call them on a stick check. So sometimes those are just really bendable heads. And so it is the responsibility of the draw taker to keep their stick in the same plane. And if they say, oh, my stick just doesn't, I'm like, okay, get a different stick then. Like this stick isn't it's not going to be legal to take this straw. So yeah, don't get convinced that they can't fix that, because they can.
So Joe, something that I battle a lot with is when they are doing pressure and like their sticks, they're at an angle, and I'm like, you need to be horizontal with the white line. Is that right?
Mhm.
Like they can't have their sticks at an angle, right? They need
Correct.
to be okay. And it's like and I don't move their stick. I tell them, line your stick up at the white line. But then it's like, I don't know if they have muscle memory or something. They'll just slide right back to that.
Okay, now we have an
Right.
illegal draw.
Okay.
Okay, you give them a chance to try to fix it.
Right.
Like usual. You don't want to do a gotcha call, but I say, I need your bottom hand coming up, so because it's usually the bottom hand's too low rather than too high. And so white bottom hand needs to come up a little higher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I have definitely taken my hand and moved that stick up. I don't touch them again, but I'm like, nope, I need the sticks here. Figure out where you want to be.
Well, instead of an illegal draw, it could also be a delay of game. I mean, depending on what it is they're doing. But if it's that they're not, like, they're intentionally like fighting you on getting that draw set up, that's them delaying the game.
Anything else? All right, well, that's all. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my last
No,
one,
go
I
ahead.
promise. But I was
Mhm.
just now that I had the rule book up looking at it. But we talked about when a player's too tall, or short and tall, or whatever, and we're putting the stick in the middle. I couldn't find in the rule book where it says the sticks do have to be. Is it above their waist? So once they're bent down, can they be too high or too low if they've agreed on a positioning? Isn't it supposed to be at or above the waist?
It's at above the waist as they're standing, you know,
Okay.
and so sometimes these girls, like, I say, this is where you want it. I put my hand there and they're like, yeah. And then as I'm setting it up, they start bending down lower and lower and they try to go really low. And to make a little humor of it, I'm like, hey girls, I'm short. We're going to go at my waist if you guys want to go so low. So I give
Okay.
them their spot.
Okay.
So I'm
A-
like, we're
Erin,
not
it's
going
the-
below my waist. And they're
Okay.
like, okay.
Yeah. Thank
It's
you.
under B of rule. So Rule 5,
Oh,
Section
thank you.
2, Article 3B.
Okay.
Above each player's hip level is what it.
And that's them standing, not already in their draw positioning.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank
if they
you.
both wanted a little lower, are you going to nitpick that? No. But you really, like, sometimes I've walked up and it's like a good, you know, half foot below my waist. I already know I'm shorter than most of them, at least for the varsity level. We're not going to do it that low. That's silly.
One thing I remembered, I don't know if we said this before, also the girls, like their hands, sometimes girls will wrap that finger up underneath. So make sure that's not happening either. I don't know if we
Yeah.
said that or not earlier.
We talked about it not being above the curve, the ball stop area. It has to be throat and lower. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't let that little finger on the back or on the sides. All right, this is just like a tiny piece of the game, but it's super important. So more to come. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, like, what we're trying to do. This is how we kind of started these up in the north, and decided we should extend to everybody, right? So typically, what we're going to try and do is do these probably every 2 weeks, hopefully. I know everyone's got busy schedules and games and such, but the intent is, you know, bring what weird, strange rule or thing that happened in the games that you did in the past 2 weeks, and let's go through them. We found it last season to be helpful and to make sure that we're all like, if we run across that sort of situation, we're all handling it sort of the same way. So it's kind of more, I would say more ad hoc in the next go around. But please bring whatever strange, odd thing happened or whatever rule clarification we want to go over.
Okay. That's it. We'll post the next one shortly, whoever's leading that. And well, there should be a little bit of a topic and then open to discussions. So, okay.
Sounds good. Thanks for doing all that, Joe.
Yep.
Thank you,
No
Joe.
problem.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Parrish.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Joe.